What's up, and welcome to another episode of the Chris Grant podcast. I just can't get enough, guys. Every podcast I do, I just keep thinking of more and more ideas to put out there for you, and I don't want to lose it while I've got it, you know? I just want to get it out. So that way I don't have to think about it anymore, you know? And maybe in person, I won't talk so much. I know I'm long-winded. I apologize. Look at that. If you watched episode 2, man, I got my mic stand figured out. So get ready. Strap yourself in for this one. So this one's going to be about an experience I had locally. Really cool experience. That I want to talk about, man. Behind the scenes type stuff, because I don't know. I just don't tell my story that often. I take for granted that everybody knows what happened or somebody else has told them. And I find out more and more that maybe that's not the right approach. Like maybe I should give my part of the story and things. So yeah, I was in this cover group. I believe it was late 2019. Maybe 2018. I don't know at this point. I'd have to look. I've got all that stuff somewhere. But basically, I was working for the radio station. And 92.9 The Beat. I was on air talent. I was, I'm a turntablist. I was DJing, doing all that stuff. And a guy approached me about starting this group. He was a big Beastie Boys fan, and he had decided that he wanted to do this Beastie Boys project for his birthday. So he really only wanted to do one show, I think, for his birthday party. So I was like, hey, man, that's cool. Like, we practiced together a few times. He had already practiced with a couple other guys, and they had the lyrics down. So my job was I was responsible for, playing the music, playing the backing tracks and all that kind of thing. Well, I wasn't just going to hit buttons. That's not what I do as a DJ, and that was not what I was going to do with this project. So I only came on. I told him, look, I will only come on if I can do this the way that I want to do this. Because I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan, and I'm not gonna disrespect the Beastie Boys by going up there and hitting a button and watching some guys do karaoke to, Beastie Boys tracks. So, from the jump, that was my condition, and they were cool with that. So I came back to the next practice with a fully laid out set that we basically used the whole time I was in the band. We derived from it. We had about 5 songs in 3 different blocks of music, and depending on where we were playing, etc., that's what we would do. So we usually used the last block because it had like "Fight for Your Right to Party" in it, "No Sleep Till Brooklyn," and all that. So that was pretty much a no-brainer to play at the end of the night, but we rotated the other 2 depending on how we were feeling the crowd and stuff. After, so we didn't do just one show, we did multiple shows, and after a few shows, we learned the audience more and how they responded, and of course, as good performers, and producers, you tweak to that. You tweak your show to that. That's what you're supposed to do. So that provided a lot of opportunities as far as getting out and playing. I love, like I said, I love the Beastie Boys. I never took it super seriously because you can't, I just couldn't do it. Plus, there's another group up in St. Louis that's been doing it, had been doing a Beastie Boys cover for years before that, called My Posse in Effect. So I kind of felt like we were kind of maybe biting them a little bit, although they had actual musicians in the band. They had guitarists and all kinds of people. They had a live DJ too, DJ Moff, and they still do, I think, actually. So it was I don't know. It just wasn't. It wasn't that. So, but I had a good time. I threw some scratches on there and stuff like that. And made it as authentic as I could with the time that I had at the time. I mean, we could have gone down to stems and original samples and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying I'm some kind of mix master Mike, but I am saying that the things I contributed in that band were just the surface of my actual skill set. And I'm confident in saying that. So, but yeah, I can't discount the good times we had, of course, with the connections. There were some decent bookings, the connections of the guys in the band. So we got to do Dog Days up in Osage Beach, I think. We got to play with another band, another pretty popular cover band locally. What else did we get to do? We got to do, man. Oh, yeah, we got to do like Wingapalooza, I think. And that was pretty awesome. Later on, since we started, doing extra gigs and stuff like that, we incorporated, more hip hop songs. We thought it was fun to do more hip hop songs with it. And man, I just want to thank the people that supported our shenanigans at the time. It's kind of silly looking back on it. Just just the other side of karaoke. But the point of it was fun. We dressed up, we wore tracksuits, and it was just all about having a good time. So that we did. Played some good gigs at Shuffle too. I think it was still called Shuffle then. Now it's OXO on South Campbell. Quick shout out to them. I believe Christian, guy named Christian, another DJ locally, runs that place. And, can't say enough great things about that guy. He's bailed me out on a gig before. I blew a speaker. He ran home, got me another speaker. Christian Guerrero. Sorry it took me a minute, man. Yeah, great guy. So I would suggest going out there and checking that out. And I think they may be considering maybe doing some comedy stuff. I heard potentially. I'm not gonna say that's happening for sure or not. But yeah, great guy. That was a fun venue to play too. We had some fun shows out there. I do want to apologize for one thing. One of the members one time was doing an air guitar solo, and we had we had a wiffle ball bat on the stage as a prop, and I tried to hand him the wiffle ball bat, and he tripped over my foot and fell. And but he fell in a way that he fell backwards, and it was, he came up like he meant to do it. So he did like a reverse somersault and just popped right back up and went back into the song. So I think he was really upset with me about it, but I don't think the crowd really cared. I think they thought it was part of the show. But I don't know. I was trying to help, and I always felt bad about that one. So here we go. That now the air is clear. I can move on. But that was a fun show. So then what happened? We kept going. I tried to bring art into it. That's what happened. So later on, we had a few shows, and I also, I was always trying to push for let's start hitting casinos. Let's start working with other people. Let's really push this thing. We could add band members if we can get the budget for that. We could do something, really cool. Actual art. But that never happened. At least when I was with them. I don't know what's happening now. But so anyway, I decided, so back in the day, I don't remember when it was, but I got a phone call to go pick up a collection of vinyl records in Chicago. Okay. This dude had owned an old disco back when disco was hot. and he had all the music from, when they would spin these records in this actual disco. And there's a point to this. But so I went up to Chicago, Illinois, the Chicago, Illinois, to pick up and load a truck, my truck, full of disco 12-inch singles, disco records, vinyl records with grooves on them that you put on an actual turntable, put a needle on, right? Did all this, because I love vinyl, I love disco. You know, you may have seen me DJ before, but this goes with every DJ. Our musical tastes, are far deeper than what we play out for everybody else. That's what pays the bills, man. We like to listen to stuff you've probably never heard of and all that stuff. So, not that I'm an elitist or whatever. I've just heard, Back in Black so many times I can barely take it anymore. I have to hear, new stuff and deeper stuff. So anyway, I have had for a long time a really nice record collection. And so I was going to go off and start a disco project with another member. Now, I will say that this member did, come to one of our gigs and play some disco. So here's where we got our wires crossed. He played disco, and immediately in my mind, I was like, dude, wow, somebody that likes disco that I could actually work with. So I was pumped, right? And I go up to him and I'm like, dude, like, I didn't know you liked disco. Like, I got all these records and blah, blah, blah. We vibed on it. We got all excited about this project we were going to do. Solo project, not solo project, side project off the band. And got really, really excited about it. And, the dude downloaded 600 disco songs from a program online, right? So I went to Chicago, Illinois to empty a basement of some real 12-inch disco singles, and this dude downloads a folder. Okay, that's important to this story too, right? So, we go on in this process, and of course we have to come up with a name. So we come up with a name for our project, and the idea for me was to have a side project, an independent side project, that didn't have anything, like just an independent thing. No sponsors, just a really cool thing that people could get behind and make their own, that wasn't tied to any big names, big puppeteers or whatever. So we decided on a name. And of course, what do you do after that? You create the social media. So I created a social media page, and I made both of us equal admins on this page, right? Both of us had the same privileges, and neither of us owned it. We were actually both essentially operators of it, if you will. I'm not sure exactly how it all works in there now. It's been, that's really the last time I did anything with it, as far as I can remember. But anyway, so I set it to where we had equal privileges. We were equal members of the project. This guy is the guy who started the other project, right? He started the other project. I can never take away from that. It was his baby. But I wanted it to be clear on this project that this was an art project, passion project that was, shared between us equally. No egos. Didn't matter who we were. We were just spinning good disco music and having a good time and trying to bring a crowd out, And so basically what happened is I get in there the next day to look at it and everything and start working on the page and start working on, designing it and stuff. And I see that this guy has taken over complete ownership of this whole deal. So, both of us had the opportunity to do that, right? Both of us could have done that. But I didn't, because I wanted it to, I wanted both of us to feel, again, as equal partners in this project and to put the art first. No, not our egos, not our talent, just the art. And I thought I thought I was being pretty generous with that because, like I said, I got my turntables. This dude's got a record collection, right? But he is not a turntablist, and I would put my turntables in front of him to prove it. So I was bringing my turntables to the table. I was bringing a ton of disco records to the table, and this guy was bringing a file, full of downloaded songs, and using my turntables to play them on. And he was trying to take credit for the whole project because I caught him in a moment when he liked disco music. So if you've ever heard another story besides that, please take mine into consideration too, because I've never really told it, but I know that other people have talked about it, and why not? Like I said, I'm just having a good time going back through my career and talking about stuff. Of course, I am 100% okay with not being in a Beastie Boys cover band. I've survived since quite well. Been able to do other things and, like I said, work on actual art. That was one of the things that made me really want to do comedy, is freeing my time up from that, gave me the opportunity to say, it's time to do, organic art. It's time to start writing. You've been playing other people's music for too long. There's definitely art in that. There's art in production. There's art in putting together a set. But I wanted to do more, And I want to thank, there was one member, actually the founding member of that band. I want to thank you specifically because you said something before our last conversation ended. And you talked about how you said I wasn't going to be able to do comedy, man. I remember you telling me that comedy is a deep art form that I wouldn't understand, and it's a lot like jazz. And I appreciate that because it really it gave me some fire. It made me decide, man, I really want to do this. So and you're right. You are absolutely right. You know music quite well. It is like jazz. It is like jazz, And I can tell you, man, I'm learning to play. You start reading the sheet music, you get a feel for it, then you can kind of start to improv a little bit, right? Then you stop looking at the sheet music and just focus on what you're doing. You start focusing on the audience and how it makes them feel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I got to tell you, man, I'm a fan of jazz too. And if you hadn't have made that connection between the two, I might not be as good as I am today. I'm not saying I'm over the top good, but I do get laughs. I've got video proof, I can't I can't deny it, I can't deny it. So thank you for helping me think of comedy in terms of jazz music. And I hope I never go avant-garde in my comedy because I'm not a fan of that kind of jazz. But so yeah, anyway, things happen for a reason, and I'm so grateful that that things happen the way they did, and that I'm in the position I am now, learning from all that stuff. And the best part is now I get to do independent art. I get to do it with talented people. I get to do it with good people who care about the independent art scene locally and who want to push it forward, who have no agenda financially, corporate image-wise, whatever the case, these people just want to have fun and make art. And that's where my heart is bringing that, that underdog up, right? Because a lot of people get passed over. And, I don't even know. So, back to the whole disco thing. I'm not even sure I said what happened, right? So we got into it, and he took the whole project. And I was like, dude, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. I told you how it was going to be, and I'm not going to do this any other way. And it left a bad taste in my mouth. So, because of that, he and the other two members of the Beastie Boys tribute band, they got together on the day that we normally practiced. Didn't tell me about practice, nothing like that, whatever. And I get a text message later on that evening that says that I am no longer needed for the project. So, I thought that was pretty weak of all of you to leave me out of that discussion. So, but hey, it is what it is. You guys do you. That's not how I would do somebody. But again, fun times. Don't regret, doing it for the most part. My DJ skills went up. I learned a lot about myself and, working with others, and really, making good decisions. I'll just say that. Really thinking about things and making good decisions based on where you want your career to go and things like that. So, man, again, thank you for listening to me. This old man here sitting here hanging out with his record and tape collection, right? And thanks for checking out my other episodes. Please check out my record store, heavyheadsrecords.com. We've got an event coming up. Check that out. I'm going to play some jazz for you at the Treehouse Lounge, some comedy jazz. That's going to be on February 21st. We got tickets available for that on heavyheadsrecords.com under the events tab, like I said. Let's see. Check out my other videos, blah, blah, blah. If you like this one, like, subscribe, and share. And I will catch you next time.